Ready?
Yep.
All right. Just like to start by letting everybody, our thoughts and prayers are with Ed Daniels, his family. Don't know status, but just praying. Our whole program praying for Ed and his family right now. Tough time. He's a fighter. Done a great job in this area locally covering sports and drawing attention to the stories of athletes. And just want to acknowledge we're thinking of him and his family this time. So. Day one of practice, some good, some bad, long way to go. We've had summer OTAs, which it helps put you ahead of maybe where we used to be football-wise this time in regards to schematics and install. You add the helmet and the spider pads and the heat, it makes it a little bit tougher than maybe what we've done because we've been going a little earlier in the morning. But we got a couple of early games that are going to be at about 11 o'clock, so we've got to be ready to go for that. Some good on both sides, some bad on both sides, a long way to go. A starting point, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the steps. So that was step one today. So with that, we'll open up to questions. Are you good?
Overall, how happy are you with this summer program? I mean, obviously, I'm rusty with you.
Yeah.
A lot of good things about it, but how do you feel about it?
I've been really pleased with the work the guys have had. June, a lot of coach involvement until the end of June, and then we do a lot of player-led stuff for about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, at the end of June and the start of July. And that I talk all the time about good teams can be coach-led, great teams have to be player-led. I think our player leadership has grown. I think our team's stronger. I think we had like 90% of our roster hit a PR on power clean this summer, which is really cool to see those guys get confident, pushing heavyweight. But I'm pleased with a lot of things. I mean, I think we've shown up in decent shape, but there's no way to simulate what you go through with the helmet and shoulder pads. So still a long way to go, but I think they had a good summer all in all.
I was just going to talk about that. You just touched on it. I mean, I know this is your first year here. That turf, it is hot out there, even at 9 a.m. in the morning. I got lots of shots of guys drinking and stuff, and y'all was very adamant about taking breaks. But how is that affecting you guys? Do you feel like you're able to get the work in that you want to get in, or are people just too hot?
No, you got to be. I say it all the time. You got to be smart, tough, not dumb, tough, right? And so we'll practice today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Tomorrow will be a similar practice today. Wednesday will be in shells, but we'll be a little bit shorter. Potentially might be able to go inside, but we'll try to make sure we're aware of. You don't want to crater yourself early, dig yourself such a big hole that you can't get out of it. And you got to be cognizant and aware of how hot it is. It is hot. But I think that's an advantage if you train in the right way with it. And so, we take breaks. We have the cold trucks back here. I don't know if you guys saw those, but that's something I've done in the past that did in Alabama. Thought just as hot and just as humid in Louisiana, why not keep doing it? And I think our guys liked it. About the midway point, those freezer trucks get down in the 30s. And so it's kind of like a 4-minute just refresher. But hydration's key. But there's no way to get better at football without practicing football, and so we got to go practice, and we'll get the right amount of work in without trying to do anything that's not smart.
How much is it here in Detroit? The weather pretty similar, or a little?
It's a little more humid. Yeah, I mean, it's you're in the South. It's all hot. It's all humid. It's all a little sticky. But this is significant. Yeah.
You mentioned the summer OTAs, and I know that even at Media Day, you mentioned Ty and just his growth over the summer. Watching him today even, how much has he progressed from when you got him in the spring to now?
Yeah, I think, in the spring he had a foot injury we didn't really fully know when we got here that it was existing or pre-existing, and so he was dealing with that. New environment, new city, new school, new teammates, a lot of new for him. But he's really, the summer was good. It was slower for him to maybe get more comfortable with his surroundings and the people he's doing everything with, he's doing life with. And so he's made big steps. He's a really cerebral, smart guy, wants to do well, and sometimes he's just got to relax and enjoy playing the game. I tell him all the time, like, you're not going to be perfect. And you can strive for perfection, but so he's done a great job, I think, of really just kind of getting into the team better and everybody mixing up. The way that the world is now with the transfer portal and all the changes you have roster-wise, like you don't really have your whole team until June. And when you got your whole team in June, that's really when you kind of start to become one even more. It's been good. The summer was really good for Ty in that regard, though.
I know you're not going to be naming anything anytime soon when it comes to the quarterback competition, but how encouraged are you by both of their growth in the
Yeah.
system? And then when you do make that decision, what's the main thing that you're looking for?
Well, both guys can play. Both guys have arm talent. Both run good. You know, Ty's probably a little faster, but Kai's not a bad runner. I mean, we won 23 games the last 2 years with slower at quarterback. I love the guy that played quarterback for us, but both guys run it good enough. And so we'll go through at least a couple weeks of training camp. We may not publicly name a starter. You may find out the night of game one. You know, I've spent a lot of time with both of them, met with both of them, gone to lunch with both of them, individually, collectively, the whole deal, just to make sure they understand, like, somebody's going to start game one, somebody's not. All right? And the response of the guy that doesn't win the job for game one is going to say a lot about who he is, you know. And then just because you start game one doesn't mean you're anointed to be the starter for the rest of your life. You have to keep earning it. And so I think those guys understand that. And I think they're going to be good teammates with each other and handle things the right way. And, you know, if they don't, they'll have to deal with me, and that won't be any fun for them because I'm not going to tolerate any selfishness or any woe is me attitudes or whatever. So we'll go through the process. I'm not going to rush into it. When we know, we'll know. I don't know off today, but I've seen both of them do some good things. I think we can win with either guy. It's just play within the system, take care of the football, make good decisions, be a good teammate.
And it seems like, to that point, the competition has been healthy in that they do
Yeah.
support each other even within that competition.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, in the back, one of them will make a throw and you hear the other guy say, hey, good ball. Like, they're not – I say this all the time with our team. We are competing with each other, not against each other. We're all on the same team. And, yeah, we're competing with each other for maybe who's going to be the starter. But, you know, iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. Anybody that is afraid of competition, good luck in life. Like, you're going to always have competition. So a rising tide raises all ships. Like, I want somebody that's going to make me better. You don't want to win the job because the other guy performs poorly. You want to win the job because the other guy does really well and you just do a little better. You know, that's why you want to win the job. So I think they'll push each other the right way and encourage each other. And if for some reason I feel like somebody's not, then, like I said, they'll have to deal with me a little bit on it.
Mackay is the only returning running back in the league that gained 1,000 yards last year. What do you feel like you have?
Yeah, just steady, man. Like you know, you don't even have to like think about what's Mackay going to show up to at practice like today. Like he's a model of consistency. He's not a real attention-seeking guy. He's just a worker. You know, I think that when you've had a player that's extremely productive like Mackay, who's also just a hard worker that puts his head down and just goes, that really spreads throughout your team, the culture of your team, because out of anybody on the roster, he's got as much right as anybody to feel pretty good about what he's already established, and he just puts the work in and gets better every day, and he didn't have bad days. So glad he's on our football team.
Coach, you said you want to play smash mouth blue collar football. Are you seeing that developing in the practices?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard in T-shirts to feel it. You know, and I tell our staff all the time, the systems and the schemes have to adapt and change based upon who our players are. But I don't care if we're running a tempo play or running a huddle play or what play we're running on offense. We want to play the football with physicality. You know, the game's meant to be played that way. I think teams that can run the ball and teams that can stop the run and teams that are tough and physical win over time. And that doesn't mean we want to play phone booth football every snap either. But that's a goal of ours. That's a plan that we have, and that's our part of our plan to win. And I think I've seen it develop. I think this summer in the weight room, I think you start to feel that more with the guys starting to get stronger and push heavier weight and probably look in the mirror and feel a little bit better about the way they look.
All good.
That's it. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Significant injury?
Yeah, so had a hammy in June. Was with the athletic trainers, kind of doing some rehab stuff, and then had a setback about 10 days ago, a week ago. Timeline to be determined. it's not, should not be any sort of season-long issue, but it's one of those deals with hamstrings. It could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be 4 weeks. You know, those soft tissue deals are always tricky. They thought they got it to a turning point a week and a half ago or so, and they had a little setback here recently. So, you know, he had a history going back to high school of, I think, spring track his senior year, had one. And then once you get one, sometimes those things, you have to kind of manage them and know they're there. And he was fine the whole time he's been here until this summer, a drill we had, he kind of tweaked it. So, yeah. Should be back, just don't know the timeline yet. Yep, thank y'all. Appreciate y'all being here.
All right, guys.